What we're going to be doing next is a review for the fall final exam on factoring. So we'll start with number 1, b squared minus 4b minus 21. When you factor, you first want to look for a greatest common factor between all your terms, and in this case there is not a greatest common factor other than 1, so we don't worry about factoring that out. And then we're going to set up, look and see how many terms we have. So we've got 3 terms, which means it will either be guess and check, or it could possibly be perfect square. But guess and check would work even if it was a perfect square. So with 3 terms, guess and check, we start with our 2 parentheses. And we're going to fill in our first terms, which comes from that b squared. So my first times first needs to equal b squared, and the only way to get that is b times b. And then my last times last needs to equal negative 21. So that means it's either got to be 1 times 21 or 3 times 7. And it also tells me that sign of negative 21 tells me that 1 needs to be positive and 1 needs to be negative. And then the middle term, this negative 4b, is what I need to get when I combine the inside times the inside and the outside times the outside. Those need to add up to equal negative 4b. So I can kind of quickly tell that 3 and 7 is going to do the trick. And in order to get a negative 4b, I'm going to need my 7 to be negative and my 3 to be positive. So this will factor into b plus 3 times b minus 7. Number 2, we have 2x cubed minus 6x squared. Again, we're going to look for a greatest common factor. I can divide out a 2 from both coefficients, and they have x squared in common, the 2 terms do. So I'll take 2x squared outside the parenthesis, and then when I divide 2 by 2 I get 1. X cubed divided by x squared is x, and then negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and take out the x squared. So I have 2x squared times x minus 3, and since this x minus 3 term doesn't have any powers higher than 1, that is factored completely. Number 3, k cubed plus 15k squared plus 56k. Greatest common factor for these 3 terms is k, so I'll factor out a k, and that leaves me with k squared plus 15k plus 56. There are 3 terms in here, so I'll be looking at guess and check, so I'll set my